friends, welcome back to my channel, or if you are new, welcome. My name is Whitney and I am on a weight loss journey that I've been documenting here on YouTube. I had the vertical sleeve gastrectomy or VSG surgery on October 27th, 2020. That is a type of weight loss surgery, also known as the gastric sleeve. I've been documenting my updates every 2 weeks at this point, as well as monthly. And so I'm coming at you today with my weeks 29 and 30 / 7 months post-op VSG update today. So if you're interested in seeing more, keep watching. So as always, we'll start with stats. When I started the process of getting approved for VSG, actually around this time last year, it's been 1 year since I started, I was at my high weight of 282.4 pounds. From the time I started the surgery approval process to when I actually had surgery, it took about 5 months, and during that time I lost just over 23 pounds, so that my weight on the day of surgery was 259 pounds even. When I checked in with you last month for my 6-month post-op update, I was at a weight of 202.4 pounds. And when I came at you for my last 2-week update, that was weeks 27 and 28 post-op, I was at a weight of 199.2. When I weighed in on Tuesday, I'm filming this a couple of days late, but when I weighed in on my weigh-in day on Tuesday, I was at 198.0. So that is a 2-week loss of 1.2 pounds, a monthly loss of 4.4 pounds, a loss since surgery of 61 pounds, and a total loss since my high weight of 84.4 pounds. So, those numbers, I'm all right with them. I'm not thrilled with them, but only because of optics and not so much because of the substance of anything. So I don't know if I've addressed this here before, but I am a daily weigher. I weigh myself first thing every morning when I get up, and weight fluctuations are very normal. But I weigh myself every day because I think it gives me a better picture of overall where I am, whereas if I just weighed myself once a week or every 2 weeks or every month, whatever that might be, you're really just getting a snapshot in time. And I know that works for a lot of people, and that's totally fine. I am not advocating any particular method of weighing yourself here. I'm just sharing what I do, and that is that I weigh myself every day because I like to see what those fluctuations are. It gives me a better idea about sort of how things change throughout the month for me, which I've throughout this process gotten a much better idea of how my weight fluctuates throughout the month, because it is not, I don't lose consistently every week of the month. But I mention all that just to say that both actually at my last 2-week check-in as well as this week's 2-week check-in, my weigh-in day that I use, which is Tuesdays because I had surgery on a Tuesday, happened to be days that my weight fluctuation was up. I don't know why that was the case last time. This time, I'm pretty sure I know why, which is that I weighed in on Tuesday and I had a weekend where I went out and enjoyed myself, and I had a couple glasses of wine and I had some high carb, high fat foods, and I'm okay with that. It was pretty limited, and it was a conscious choice I made. It wasn't like I gave into a craving or something like that. But it is typical for me after I have something like that I sort of bloat for a day or two after. And so that's what happened. Prior to weigh-in day, I was averaging around 196. Literally the next 2 days after weigh-in day, I dropped about a pound each day, and again was hanging out around 196 for the next couple days after that. So I'm not sure 198 is necessarily reflective, but we go with the number on the scale on weigh-in day, so that's what it is. I feel like I'm saying that, I've said that the last couple times where I'm like, I know this is what I weighed in at, but it was actually different. And so in some ways I hate that because the number on the scale isn't really what matters, but I also want to give you guys sort of an accurate representation of what my weight's doing, and so that fluctuation I think is important to note. And I also think it's important just to note that weight fluctuations are normal. So any one weigh-in does not define your progress. So just always keep that in mind. I feel like it's easy to get hung up on the fact that, oh my gosh, I gained a pound, or I only lost a pound, or whatever the case may be. And sometimes those things are accurate, and that's okay too, but also sometimes they're not really accurate to what's going on. So that is that. I feel great about where I'm at, and I'm excited for my weigh-in next time to see how far I've come. The other thing, because this is a monthly update, I try to reflect back on the month as a whole, not just the last 2 weeks since my last update. So the big monthly note I want to flag for anyone that's only watching these monthly updates is that, of course, this month I reached Wonderland. My weight got below 200 pounds, which was amazing. I celebrated that during the last video, so I'm not going to talk too much about it here, but that's a huge accomplishment for me. It's not somewhere I've been in a very, very, very long time, and I'm very, very happy about it. The other big thing that happened this month is I believe I announced in my 6-month video that I was going to be participating in the Make It Count challenge that Sophie Got Sleeved over on Instagram had announced. And my personal goal for myself was to do some sort of movement every day of the month. And that I was also going back to the gym, and that I wanted that to be a significant portion of my movement. And since I am filming this a little bit late, I'm actually filming it on Memorial Day, May 31st this year. And that, so that means today's the last day of the challenge, and I'm happy to report that I did complete that challenge, and I met my goal of getting movement in every single day with a significant emphasis on going to the gym. So I would say I've averaged at the gym 4 to 5 days a week. Sometime, some weeks it was a little bit more, some weeks it was a little bit less, but I was around that 4 to 5 days each week. And it feels great. I have made so much progress in my physical fitness this month that I just feel wonderful about. So when I started this, I felt pretty good, but I would get on the treadmill and it was hard for me to run. I would do it, but it was a struggle, and I could only get a few intervals in, whereas now I have increased my time when I'm running on the treadmill. I've increased the speed, and I've increased the incline. I don't exclusively work out on the treadmill. I also use the elliptical, and it's a similar story over there. And then I've also been doing some strength training. And on the strength training side, I have increased my weight and increased my reps on the exercises that I do on that side of things. So I feel really good about that. I have definitely seen a change in my body. My arms are more toned, my shoulders are more toned, my legs are more toned. I overall just feel stronger. And it's just great. I feel fantastic. So I'm really happy that I took this opportunity to build up that habit, and I'm really happy with where I'm at, and I look forward to continuing it. So the other side of the equation from exercise, of course, is food. Not too much to report here, but I think it's been a while since I talked about what I'm doing as far as food goes, because I've been in this routine for a while now, but I thought it might be helpful to check in on it, which is that the routine I established during my no spend challenges, I guess it was 2 that I did in March and April, I believe it was, that routine has really stuck. Not the no spend part of it specifically, but sort of my manner of eating, which for me I found works really, really well. And that is that I fast in the morning. So I don't eat breakfast unless I'm really hungry. And I really consider this basically just listening to my body and trying to eat more intuitively. And that involves not eating when I'm not hungry. And I'm typically not hungry in the morning. And so I don't eat in the morning. If I am really, truly hungry, I will. And that happens a couple times a month, but it's very much the exception, not the rule. So that's the first thing, is I fast in the morning. I break my fast with lunch typically. And for lunch, pretty much without exception, I have a protein shake. What kind of protein shake it is varies considerably. This month I've been favoring doing blended protein shakes with ice. So I get a nice creamy, frothy, frozen blended drink, which is nice as it's getting warmer here in Northern California. But sometimes it's more of a Profi style drink. It just kind of varies. But that's typically lunch. Occasionally, if I'm really hungry at lunch, I'll have a little bit something extra with that, maybe a little bit of cheese or a couple of crackers. But there's always a protein shake in the mix. I actually can't remember. There have only been a handful of times, I guess. I can remember 1 or 2 occasions where I've had lunch plans with someone else where we're going out, and I'll have something else, and then I'll kind of switch it up, and sometimes that night I'll do a protein shake for dinner, or I'll just eat a regular dinner, and that's kind of an off day for me. But that's that. And then, so that's lunch. If I'm hungry in the afternoon, I'll have a snack of some sort. What that snack looks like varies. Sometimes it's a Built Bar. Sometimes it's a jerky stick. I've been really favoring jerky sticks lately. I ordered some from Bomar Nutrition. They have all sorts of different flavors of these like meat stick, jerky stick type things. Kind of like a Slim Jim, but without all the crap. And I've been really enjoying those. I've been into the salty snacks this month for sure, not so much into the sweet. Sometimes it'll be some cottage cheese or some cheese and crackers. It really runs the gamut in terms of what I will have for a snack. The only thing that's consistent is that I only have that snack if I'm actually hungry. And I would say it's 50-50. Sometimes I really want that snack, sometimes I don't. And I just listen to my body and do what it's telling me to do. And then my last meal of the day is dinner. And dinner, I don't really restrict myself. And what I mean by that is I don't have a prescribed, like, what I have for dinner is A plus B plus C in the same way that I do for lunch, where it's like, it's a protein shake, or for snack where it's kind of one of like 5 things. Dinner is much more about, I don't know, what do I feel like cooking? What sounds good? The only real rules I stick to for dinner is that I try to keep to a higher protein, low carb option. And beyond that, there's no rules. So frequently what ends up happening is that I will make some sort of main entree type thing earlier in the week, like over the weekend. So that'll be, I'll grill up a big batch of chicken, or I'll make steaks, or I'll make some other sort of entree. And then I kind of eat the leftovers off that all week. And to the extent it's possible, I'll turn those things into salads as well to give myself a little more variety and to get some extra vegetables into my diet. So if I made, let's say, grilled chicken with vegetables and brown rice on a Sunday night for dinner, then I'll have some of that just in its same form as leftovers throughout the week. But then some nights I'll chop up some of that chicken and those grilled vegetables and I'll make a salad. And I keep kind of a variety of dressings and cheeses and things like that that I can use to jazz up those salads. So maybe one night I'll make like a Greek style salad, or one night it's more Italian style. One night it's apples and cheddar that I add in there. And that's what I've been doing, and it seems to work well. It doesn't require a whole lot of prep, and it still gives me plenty of variety in my diet. So, sorry about that. I just hit the table. So that is what I've been doing as far as food goes. I know that was a long explanation, but I think it's been a while since I touched on that, and food is obviously a huge part of this journey, so I wanted to make sure I did that. The next thing that I have to update you guys on goes into or relates to my food and exercise routine, which is that I'm going on vacation for the first time since I had surgery next week. I'll be going to Puerto Vallarta, Mexico with my best friend. We're just going for a couple of days. It's sort of a short trip, but I'm really excited about that. And I've been grappling with what to do as far as my food and exercise routine goes. And I think what I've decided is that I basically have 3 goals for myself, or 3 guidelines maybe is a better word, to stick to while I'm there. And one is not to drink too much alcohol. I do plan to have a couple of drinks while I'm there, maybe more than a couple, because for me, that is part of vacation. I enjoy having a, pina colada or blended fun drink. I don't really drink almost at all these days. But for me, that's part of vacation and I want to enjoy it. And I didn't have this surgery to completely cut out things that I enjoy from my life. So I do plan to do that. It's very much a time and place thing for me, but I don't want to overdo it. In the past, when I would go on vacation, I would drink all day. And I know that not only is that not going to help me achieve my goals, I'm also going to feel like crap if I do that. So I don't want to do that. So very much a alcohol in moderation type policy is what I want to pursue on this trip. As far as food goes, I want to enjoy the food. I'm going to be in Mexico. They have delicious Mexican food. I'm in California, so we have delicious Mexican food here too, but those tacos just hit different on the beach, you guys. It's a true story. And I'm going to enjoy that. Again, I didn't have this surgery to completely cut out things that I enjoy in my life. And I didn't get to be 282 pounds because I ate tacos on vacation. I got to be 282 pounds because I was eating like I was on vacation all the time, among other reasons. But on vacation for this special occasion, it's totally appropriate for me to go off plan for me. That is what I'm going to do. I mean, we'll see how it works, but it's what I think is going to work for me. I'm not telling anyone else what they should do. I think different people have different things that work for them, and that is completely fine. And then lastly, exercise is kind of a big question mark. I am going to take my gym shoes and some workout clothes. There is a fitness center at the resort. And I'm just going to play that by ear and see how I feel. I've gotten into a really good routine of getting up in the morning and working out. And so if I'm feeling up to that, I would like to try and continue that, whether it's a long morning walk on the beach or getting down to the fitness center and, maybe doing some strength training along with some cardio. I'm just going to see how I feel. I don't have a specific guideline in mind for that. I'm just going to see how it goes. So it's going to be really interesting, and I will report back to you in my next update about how that went and what my experience was. The next item is, and I'm sorry, as always, I'm looking down at my notes here, that since I had my 6-month update here, I had my 6-month post-op appointment with my surgeon. And for that appointment, it's the first one that we've done labs since I had surgery. So I had all my 6-month blood work done and had my appointment with her to discuss it. And it's kind of like a no news is good news type situation. All of my labs looked fantastic. There were only 2 items that were out of normal range. One of those was my ferritin, which is an iron storage indicator. And it was just slightly low, but all of my actual iron blood levels and whatnot looked fine, so she wasn't really concerned with that. It's just something to keep an eye on. I'll definitely have to keep taking my iron supplements. As I've talked about here before, I do donate blood regularly, so that could be contributing to my iron being a little bit lower. But I've recently switched from donating whole blood to donating platelets, where you actually get your red blood cells that include your iron back. So I think that might just work itself out there. And the only other thing that was out of range were my platelets, which they were just barely out of range, not enough to be concerning whatsoever. And they're actually lower than they were when I had my pre-op labs. So it's not something she was concerned about at all, especially the fact that they're lower than they were before, and she suspects they'll continue to come down. And particularly now I've started donating platelets because cancer patients need them. It's all good news there. The thing I was most excited about to see in that blood work is that my A1C, when I had it tested at the beginning of the pre-op process, was 5.3, I think, and I had it tested a year before that, and it was 5.4. Both of those are considered in normal range, but they are on the higher end of normal. I believe it's 5.7 and above is considered diabetes, and then at some point it's considered diabetes. I don't know exactly what the cutoff is, but I know the 5.7 is considered pre-diabetes. So 5.4 is cutting it a little close. I didn't like that, and one of the main reasons I had this surgery and was motivated to lose weight is that I did not want to become diabetic. I have an extraordinarily strong family history of type 2 diabetes, and I did not want to join those ranks. So again, started 2 years ago at 5.4, it was down to 5.3 when I started surgery approval process, was down to 5.2 right before surgery when they tested it. And this time, 6-month post-op VSG, it was down to 4.9, which is very healthy. So I'm super, super excited about that and proud of that, because it just shows that all the work I'm doing is paying off, not just for my appearance and my weight, but also for my overall health. There were other great indicators in there too, like my overall cholesterol was lower, my LDL cholesterol, which is bad cholesterol, was down, my HDL cholesterol, which is your good cholesterol, was up. Everything looked great. It's just really amazing and fantastic. So I was really, really happy about that. And then I've had a couple of questions lately about my incisions and how those are looking. It's been a while since I did an incision update over here. So I'm going to insert a picture here so you can see my incisions and how far they've come. They look really, really good. As you can see, they're almost not noticeable, some of them. There's one that you can't see here that's actually inside my belly button. That one is visible if I like pull my belly button up, but I didn't have any way of doing that for the photo. And since you wouldn't see it in real life anyway, unless you pulled the skin up on my belly button, I didn't think it was important to show. But they are looking really good. Just as a reminder for anyone who hasn't watched some of my older videos, I used ScarAway silicone sheet strips on my scars starting from about 2 weeks post-op. And I would say I used them for 6 to 8 weeks. There is science showing that silicone sheeting significantly reduces the appearance and the texture of scars. I can't say for sure whether that made the difference for me. I tend to be a pretty good scarer, if that's a word, in general, but I do feel like my incisions healed up incredibly well, and I'm inclined to attribute at least some of that to using those ScarAway strips. So highly recommend those. And the nice thing with them is that it's best if you use them immediately post-op, like from the time basically your incisions are actually closed, you don't have anything coming out of them. It's safe to use them, although always check with your own surgeon, but that was what my surgeon told me. But you can also use them later. So even if you're several months post-op and you're not liking the way your incisions look, there is science showing that the silicone sheeting does improve the look and feel of scars even when used later. So that's a product that's available on Amazon. You can find it at CVS. They're really available all over the place. They also have a silicone gel that you roll on. That has not been shown to be as effective, though it does have some efficacy. So just be aware of that. My biggest issue with the ScarAway strips is that they would not stay on their own. And so what I ended up doing was I'd put the strip on and then I'd do two Band-Aids as like an X over them and to keep them on. So that worked fine. It was kind of a pain in the butt, but it worked. At this point, I don't use anything special on my scars, or at least nothing specific to my scars. I do put lotion on every day. I've talked before about the Strivectin Crepe Control body cream that I use. I'm still using that, but actually what I'm doing now is I also use a retinol body cream. The brand I believe is Advanced Clinicals. I saw it on Dr. Dre's channel, and I just alternate days from using the retinol body cream and the Crepe Control body cream. Once I run out of the Crepe Control, I think I'll probably just stick with the retinol body cream exclusively. There's plenty of science showing that retinol is one of the best things you can use for your skin in terms of reducing aging and whatnot. And so while I don't know specifically whether it will help with loose skin, my suspicion is that it would, because it basically increases cell turnover. And so I would think that that would help with the loose skin issues as well. I have noticed some loose skin on my body. Fortunately, my stomach actually looks pretty good, and that was my biggest concern. That could still change, but it looks a lot better than I thought it would. I don't have any visibly loose skin on my stomach at this point, though things are kind of softer, looser than they used to be. My boobs is where I've noticed the most loose skin. They definitely have some, and they're more deflated and sad looking than they used to be. Such is life. And I've noticed more on my thighs than I expected. So they're not too bad, but it does make me wonder if there might be a thigh lift in my future. So we'll just have to keep watching that. But that's my skin update. And the other thing I've gotten questions about is hair loss. I did experience hair loss mostly between months 3 and 6. I had a lot of hair to start with, so my hair loss was never that like traumatic or concerning to me. Other than, you can't see it now, but there was one spot where I lost a lot, all concentrated right up front near my hairline. So I had this like mini bald spot. No one else noticed it unless I pointed it out to them. So I think that just goes to remind us all that we're a lot more critical of ourselves than anyone else is of us, or at least anyone that is a decent person in our lives. So yes, I did lose hair, but it's growing back now. I don't know that you'll be able to see it here. My hair's a little dirty right now, but I definitely have a lot of regrowth. So it is coming back. You know, everyone has to make this choice for themselves, but I would say don't let hair loss be something that holds you back from this surgery if you otherwise think it would benefit you. The benefits you get from this surgery are so enormous and lasting, and the hair loss issue is something that, number one, more likely than not, only you are going to notice, and it's temporary. The hair does come back. So that's what I have to say about hair loss. If you have any other questions about it, feel free to leave them down below, but I don't really have much more to say on it than that. And then the last thing, because this is a monthly update, I have my before and after photos, which I will insert here. So the first thing you'll see are my last month to this month photos. You know, I guess I was actually a little disappointed in these photos because I don't see huge changes between them. Whereas I do feel like in real life, I've noticed changes that are just not really reflected in these pictures, but that's okay. I feel like you can kind of see that my arms have more definition, but beyond that, not a huge difference. And then next we have my starting weight to now photos, and these continue to just blow me away, how far I've come. So yeah, I mean, not a lot to say other than I'm just so proud of how far I've come. And just a reminder to everyone, if you're pre-op and you're watching these videos, take before photos, take before photos, take before photos, and take progress photos along the way. That is my second biggest piece of advice that I can give to pre-ops. I try not to give advice as such because I think everybody's experiences are different, but I have two pieces of advice that I give to pre-ops, at least if they ask. The number one is really try not to compare yourself to other people. Everybody's journeys are different. And the second is take before photos and take progress photos. On those days when you are feeling down, on those days when you feel like you don't look different in the mirror, those progress photos are everything. So with that, this was a longer update than normal, but I appreciate you all hanging in there. And as always, thank you for watching. I've had a lot of people reach out to me over the last month that said, hey, I found you on YouTube. They've messaged me on Instagram. I found you on YouTube. You know, I'm having VSG and your content's really helped. And those messages just mean everything to me. At this point, really, that's why I do this channel. And so keep them coming if you feel that way. It's a nice shot in the arm for me, and gives me the motivation to keep doing these videos. You can also find me on Instagram. I post over there pretty much every day. I'm much more consistent and regular over there because, quite frankly, it's less work than YouTube. But I will keep doing my YouTube updates, but if you want more frequent information about how I'm doing or you want to interact more, you can find me on Instagram. You're also welcome to please comment down below if you have any comments or questions. I read every comment. I respond to every comment. Sometimes it might take me a few days, but I do always get to them. And I so appreciate all of you watching. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. That helps more people find my channel, and it can hopefully help them. And I hope you're all doing great, and I'll see you next time. Bye.